You cannot breathe. Not because there is no air, because there are too many bodies between you and it. Your ribs are pressed flat against a metal barrier that is bending, slowly, with a sound like a ship's hull under pressure. Somewhere below your knees, your father's hand is still locked around your wrist. You cannot see his face. You cannot see anything except the back of a green and white scarf and a strip of gray sky above the terrace roof. The crowd does not move like people anymore. It moves like weather. A roar goes up somewhere behind you, a goal, maybe, or a surge, you cannot tell which, and the whole terrace lurches forward 6 inches as one animal. The barrier groans. Someone near your ear is praying. Someone else is screaming a name, over and over, the same name, like saying it enough times will make the person answer. Your father's grip tightens. He leans down, close enough that you feel his breath on your ear over the noise, and he says the only 4 words he will say to you for the next 10 minutes. Don't let go of me. You don't know yet that this is the last clear sentence he will ever say to you in this stadium. You only know the smell of beer and sweat and crushed grass, the cold iron under your hands, and the terrible, intimate pressure of 1,000 strangers trying not to die in the same 11 square feet as you. It is a Saturday in early spring, and this is the only thing that has ever made your father happy in a way you could watch happen on his face. You are 11. You have been coming to these matches since you were small enough to ride on his shoulders past the turnstiles for free, since before you understood that the man who took your ticket stub barely looked at either of you, since before you understood that nobody in this stadium is really looking at anyone. The terrace is not a place with seats. It is a place with steps and rails and gates that lock from the outside once the match begins, gates the men in dark uniforms control, not you, not your father, not anyone wearing a scarf. You learned a long time ago that the fence between the terrace and the pitch is not there to keep the players safe from the crowd. Your father told you that once, quietly, like it was a secret you were old enough to keep. It is there to keep the crowd in. You have never questioned why a stand built for thousands has so few ways out. You have never questioned why the men with radios at the gates seem more interested in keeping people from getting onto the grass than in counting how many people are being let in behind you. This is simply how it has always been. The crowd comes. The gates close. The match happens to you more than you watch it. Today the ground is fuller than you have ever seen it. Today there are more bodies on your block of terrace than there are bricks in the wall behind you. And somewhere in the climbing minutes before kickoff, you stop being able to lift your own arms. The first 20 minutes of the match, you do not watch a single moment of football. You watch your father's jaw, clenched tight enough that a muscle stands out beneath his ear. You watch the back of the man in front of you, whose shirt is soaked through at the spine though the day is cool. You watch a boy younger than you, 3 bodies to your left, lifted clean off his feet by the crush and passed hand over hand toward the front like cargo, because the men down there have learned that this is the only way to save the smallest ones. Pass them up and over the fence onto the warning track, where at least there is room to fall down without being trampled. Nobody in a uniform comes to open the gates. The gates do not open. This is the rule you have always lived by here, and today the rule has teeth. You learn that fear has a taste. It sits at the back of your tongue, metallic, the way it tastes right before you are sick. You learn that your body will do things you did not choose. Your legs will keep walking in place, though there is nowhere to walk. Your hands will keep gripping the rail, though you cannot feel your fingers anymore. Your lungs will keep trying to take a full breath, though your chest has no room left to expand. You learn, too, the small mercies. The stranger in the donkey jacket who turns sideways to give you 4 extra inches of space, for no reason except that he saw you were a child. The man who starts singing, low and rough, an old terrace song, and how 3 dozen voices join him not because anyone feels like singing, but because singing means breathing on purpose, in rhythm, together, instead of gasping alone. You learn that your father, who has never once in your life told you he loved you in so many words, will spend the worst 10 minutes of his life saying nothing else but your name and don't let go, again and again, like a man bailing water from a boat with his bare hands. This is the only authority that matters here now, not the club, not the police. Not the men with radios who locked the gates and have not yet decided to unlock them. The only authority left is the crowd itself, crushing inward with a weight that does not care whose son you are. The barrier in front of you gives. Not all at once. A low metallic shriek, then a lurch, and suddenly there is no rail beneath your hands, only forward motion. Only the ground tilting away under your shoes as the whole human wall behind you pours through the gap where the barrier used to be. Your father's hand is still on your wrist. And then it is not. It happens in less than a second. A stranger's shoulder driving between you, the crowd splitting around 2 points like water around a stone, and the press of bodies simply takes you in a different direction than it takes him. You hear him shout your name once, full-throated, the loudest sound he has made all day, and you cannot see him, and you cannot stop. Because stopping is not a thing your legs are permitted to do anymore. For 4 or 5 steps you are carried rather than walking, your feet barely touching the terracing, and you understand with a clarity that frightens you more than the crush itself. Nobody is coming to save you. Not the men at the gates, who are still locked. Not the police beyond the fence, who are watching the pitch invasion forming at the front and have not yet understood what is happening in the stand behind them. Not your father, who cannot reach you, who is somewhere behind a wall of strangers, shouting a name that the noise is eating before it reaches you. You make a choice in that half second that you will carry for the rest of your life, though you are 11 years old and do not yet have the words for what kind of choice it is. You do not fight to go back toward your father's voice. You let the crowd carry you forward, toward the gap in the broken barrier, toward the narrow gate that someone, finally, has wrenched open onto the side of the pitch. You choose to live. You will spend years afterward not knowing what to call the thing you feel about having chosen it. You are sitting on the grass at the edge of the pitch, which feels unbearably soft and green and ordinary under your hands, when you find your father again. He is on his knees a few yards away, and he is not looking for the ball or the scoreline or anything happening on the pitch at all. He is looking at every face that comes through the gap in the fence, one by one. The way a man counts coins, he is afraid he is lost. When he sees you, he does not run, does not shout your name again. He simply closes his eyes for a moment, the way a man does when something inside his chest finally unclenches. And then he crosses the grass and puts his hand on the back of your head. And neither of you says anything at all. Behind you, the terrace is still emptying its last bodies onto the pitch, men sitting in the grass, some weeping without sound, some staring at nothing. A few still searching the crowd the way your father searched for you. The match will not finish today. Someone, eventually, will write down a number for how many people did not walk off the terrace. And the number will be smaller than it could have been, and that will be called fortunate. You will go to matches again, years from now, as a grown man. You will stand in stands with proper seats, with exits that open outward, with no fences between the crowd and the pitch. You will tell yourself it is a different world. But every time a crowd around you roars at once, and the ground seems to lean forward under your feet, some small and ancient part of you will check, instantly, without deciding to, is there still a hand on my wrist?